Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning into this Facebook fireside chat. My name is Maura Russo, and I'm a client partner at Facebook on our education vertical. I get to work with organizations in the education industry to grow their business and harness the Facebook family of apps and services to deliver meaningful business impact. In this series, we're connecting with our female clients in the education industry. Our primary goal with this series is to facilitate conversations around women in leadership roles. We've found there's a bit of magic that happens when women leaders can share their experiences with others. However, we know they don't always have the time or the access to connect with peers. At the same time, the COVID-19 pandemic has caused massive disruption in the education industry in particular, and has impacted our work in incredible ways. We also acknowledge the impact the past year has had on each of us personally and the many roles we play, both in our home office and beyond. So today we'll take an intentional pause from our day-to-day roles and the change of the past year to learn from an impactful female leader. Today I have the pleasure of connecting with Jenn Ogden-Reese. Jenn is the Chief Marketing Officer of 2U Inc., an education technology company whose mission is to eliminate the back row in education. Jenn, thank you so much for joining me today and for participating in this discussion.
Thanks for having me, Maura. I'm excited to be here and to chat with you.
Awesome. Well, to begin, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little about 2U to our viewers?
Sure. So first on 2U, for those who don't know about us, we power over 500 educational offerings from 80 different universities across the world. And our educational offerings extend from short courses covering topics as wide-ranging as diversity, equity, and inclusion, to cryptocurrency, to AI, to leadership skills. We power offerings in the technical bootcamp space, covering coding, digital marketing, data visualization. And then we power offerings in the undergraduate and graduate space, in disciplines ranging from social work to nursing, to business, to data science. And, basically we help our partners transform for the digital age. We take their amazing curriculum and all of the wonderful pedagogy that they have, and we help them translate that into amazing digital experiences for students. We're really about helping them open up access to their educational offerings in that end-to-end digital student journey. So my role is to oversee, on behalf of our partners, marketing across all three of those lines of businesses, the short courses, the boot camps, and the degrees. And the marketing function combines the best in performance marketing. Data-driven performance marketing is at the core of what we do, and we work hard with Facebook on that every day. And we combine that with a deep understanding of our partners' unique value proposition and their brand and their offerings. And I like to say we combine both the art and the science that are required for marketing today. And I've been on board about a year and a half here at 2U, and it has been truly exhilarating to be part of a company driven with a mission to drive outcomes for students. We have delivered outcomes for over 300,000 students and lifelong learners, which is pretty powerful to think about. Understanding that how much education really unlocks mobility and satisfaction in life. So it's been a really powerful year and a half for me, and I've learned a lot myself.
It's awesome, and thank you for sharing that with us. congratulations on the success you all have had thus far. And, I love the point you made about education being a conduit for mobility. I'm so appreciative for this moment to get to know you better, and I'm sure our viewers are too. You're certainly a respected leader in your organization, and I found all leaders tend to have a very individual story about their unique journey to a particular role. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about your journey to today and the steps along the way to become Chief Marketing Officer at 2U.
Yeah. So first of all, this is my first role in education technology, and I will say one thing for me is that I like to be challenged and to be continually learning new industries, new skills, and I think you can see that in my background a bit. Prior to joining 2U, I spent 5 or 6 years at two different startups. And in those companies, one was in women's fashion and one was in live events. I really had the opportunity to build a marketing team and a brand from the ground up. And it was fast paced, it was incredibly high growth, and it was amazingly energizing to be moving fast and learning fast as we grew those businesses. And prior to that, I spent about 15 years at Time Inc., at a larger established company with established brands. And I really, really cut my teeth as a marketer at Time Inc., where I had the opportunity to work on a whole range of brands, from brand new brands that we created to the established brands that probably folks have heard of, like Sports Illustrated, People, InStyle, Entertainment Weekly, Essence. And I had the opportunity there to really recognize that consumer insights are the key to marketing. And each of those different brands and properties attracted different folks for different reasons. And figuring out how to effectively market those amazing products, whether they be print or digital, was the really fun part of my job there. And I think that the thread through my whole career has been that I am a direct marketer at heart. I look at consumer insights and connect the dots and try and drive consumer actions and then measure results. And that's sort of the key to that domain direct marketing expertise. And I built that at Time Inc. and then moved into those sort of growth stage companies. And now I'm at 2U, which is probably the best of both worlds, right? A high growth company with some bigger infrastructure and some more resources. And it's been really, really kind of the culmination of those two segments of my career.
Yeah, you bring up such a good point that I'd love to sort of double click on, which is you've worked with both established brands and startups. Are there any lessons from both of those experiences that you've carried with you into your role at 2U?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the key things is to remain flexible in your mindset. So one of the things that there's so much in these established brands, like our university partner brands. They're very, very well established. They're incredibly iconic, but they also need to evolve and be current and modern with the students they're trying to attract. And so for me, what I saw in the startup world was the ability to be very nimble, be very flexible, and to recognize that you're going to need to evolve and change. And what we've tried to do at 2U is retain this true strength of our partner brands, but also modernize and make sure that we are in all the channels where consumers are, and that we're messaging in ways that are super relevant to the consumer, and also retain that incredible sort of brand equity that our partners bring. So I think flexibility and recognizing how fast-paced the world is now and bringing that to our partners has been really sort of key to how we've been successful. They rely on us to to bring that expertise. And it's something that's really fun about the job.
That's fantastic. And thank you for giving us that peek into the world of 2U. Having such an extensive career, I would imagine you've worked with many different types of people along the way. So I'd love to spend a few moments talking about sort of mentorship and networking. From my own experience, I've always found it highly beneficial to connect, especially with other women in the tech and advertising industries. I'm curious if you've had any notable mentors or mentees along your career that perhaps have influenced your career trajectory and the next step you took, or even the leadership style that you've cultivated along the way.
Well, I've been so fortunate to work with so many amazing people in my career. I don't think I can pick out any one given person. Growing up at Time Inc. and in a media environment, there were a lot of amazing women there. And so, I always felt very supported and surrounded by amazing, powerful, strong, creative women. I would say that a lot of my relationships that I've retained over my pretty long career have been with folks who I have been peers with. I really find that folks that you work with, if you're on a leadership team and you've got, other functional leads and you're all working together, those people who have kind of taken on challenges. I mean, obviously it's great when the business is going great and there's ups, but also sort of weathering the challenges that we inevitably face. And I just have so many great relationships from the folks who I work closely with to build businesses, recover from challenges. And those people, those relationships where you've got trust, you've got transparency, you've got camaraderie. I mean, being part of a team is probably one of the best things I find about work in general, is to be pulling together as a team. And so I would say that I've drawn a lot of strength, and have amazing ongoing relationships with people I've worked with as peers, and also people who've worked for me. And you learn as much from the people who work for you as some of the people you work for. So, one of the most rewarding parts of work is to build those long-term relationships. And trust me, I go back to folks all the time for advice and for help and for and to give advice, and to have that network is really fantastic. And I'm happy to be able to have supported a lot of different folks as a mentor as well. That's one of the most rewarding parts of being a leader is to be able to support people in whatever their aspirations may be. And that's something I love doing, both for my current staff, but also folks I've worked with over the years.
I love that. I mean, it's a good reminder that oftentimes our colleagues, our peers, those who we interact with day to day, every day for such a long period of the day, can honestly be ones that we learn from and share with the most. And I think it's been a unique challenge to stay engaged with our colleagues and maintain those sort of mentorship relationships at a distance, right? And through the conditions of the past year and a half at this point. I think another reason why mentorship is so important is because as women, we know that women are largely underrepresented in leadership positions in organizations globally. Can you share with us a little what, sort of being a female leader in the education industry means to you? And how have you cultivated your leadership superpowers over the years? What would you say some of your superpowers might be?
Yeah, so I would say, first of all, that it is honestly one of the most gratifying parts of having a long career and a lot of relationships is to see folks succeeding in whatever they want to do. I have people who I've worked with who are fellow CMOs, and it's amazing to see them be successful. I've seen folks pivot to become bloggers. I've seen folks decide they're going to start their own business and be entrepreneurs. And to have any, in my mind, one of my sort of areas of superpowers is really in coaching and empowering people to go after whatever it is they want. I am a listener. I'm someone who is going to give advice and be straight with people. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a straight shooter, pretty direct. And so I think people value that, and also the fact that I do listen, and I'm empathetic, and I try and drive confidence, and give people confidence to go after what they're passionate about. And that's been, it's been fantastic. I've just had someone I used to work with text me just yesterday about a career change and a move and wanting to chat about it. And, I love that because, that's one of the really fun parts of being a professional, is like to be able to connect with people you care about and help them out to the extent you can. And I have been missing some of that during the pandemic, I will say. And I have like a whole dance card of like lunches and drinks lined up for the summer as people are more comfortable to get together. Because yes, Zoom and Hangouts and phone calls are good, but I'm really looking forward to connecting with some of those people in my world in the coming months. And it's always valuable to me, and I like to think I add some value and some advice when I get to connect with people.
Well, what a great story to hear from a former colleague, and to feel that pride of any sort of influence or guidance or positive impacts that you've had on that decision to sort of change one's career trajectory. Maybe pivoting a little bit, but looking more closely within the education industry. We've touched on this a few times, but the impact of the past year certainly cannot be undermined. And better than anyone that many education advertisers have shifted their business models and have created entirely new modalities as the next growth engines sort of within their organizations, really as a result of the past year, or accelerated by the impact of the past year. For instance, you mentioned part of 2U Inc. is the short course and certificate divisions. From personal experience, I just recently completed Yale's Women in Leadership online certificate program, which is powered by Get Smarter, a division of the 2U business. So all that being said, how are you thinking about the future of 2U in light of the past year? And from a glass half full perspective, what excites you about the future of education?
Yeah, I mean, you hit on it exactly. I mean, the silver lining of the pandemic has been the acceleration of the growth of online education. We've been here 10 years, so it's been an area of opportunity and growth for consumers for that entire decade and probably before that. But what we've seen is an incredible acceleration in consumer demand. Consumers are more and more comfortable with the online modality. They are more and more excited about the flexibility that it offers. Further, they're seeing the kind of quality outcomes you can get from 2U powered programs. So for me, it's really been an accelerant for us at the company. I would say, we've seen incredible growth in that consumer demand. And then there's also been the trend around in the workforce with companies really looking to upskill and reskill employees. And we can meet that demand as well with our offerings. So, we are always happy to have, more competition in the mix, because I think it makes everyone better. But we really feel like we've been here and we're we've been doing this for a decade, and we're incredibly well poised to continue to innovate. On our side, we're doing a lot of product innovation. We have even short courses that we're rolling out. We're doing more foreign language offerings. We have just a ton of different new products coming into the market to meet consumer needs. And also, our partners are increasingly looking to partner with us to make sure they're meeting the needs of students and companies. So, on our side, we're really, looking at the future, and we see blue skies ahead as we continue to evolve our product mix and meet the needs of students and companies out there. It's pretty exciting, and we recently launched 2 degree completer programs, undergrad degree completer programs, one for Simmons University Women's College in Boston, and one for Morehouse College in Atlanta, an HBCU, and we've had incredible demand there. So there's just a ton of runway here, and we've got a lot more to offer to drive growth.
Absolutely. And I think you mentioned a major key term there, innovate, right? And the speed to which one is willing to innovate. I think we've seen that as a major trend over the past year. And I will steal with pride, as we say at Facebook, your term of blue skies ahead. I love that one. In that vein, we touched on the very personal impact that the pandemic has had on each of us, and the sort of tactics we've had to each implement to navigate such an unprecedented, uncomfortable at times year. At Facebook, we often talk about the concept of fuel, and we define fuel as the activities, the habits, hobbies, even boundaries we practice on a regular basis to sort of give us the energy and the motivation that we need to do our jobs optimally. So can you share with us what fuels you?
Well, in one word, dinner. And it's literal and figurative, because I'm a mom of 3. I've worked, I've had maternity leave for 12 weeks I have twins, 2 pregnancies. But other than that, I've essentially commuted my whole life, my whole career and my whole time as a mom. So one of the things that's been like the sanity here, because you could work all the time, right? When you're working remote. And so one of the sanities for me has been, it's 6. I got to wrap it up. I might come back to it later, but let's wrap it up. I'm going to make dinner, which I love to cook. And so virtually every night I take that stop and I go and chat with my kids, make food. I have 3 boys, so they're very appreciative because they're growing boys. And we just have family time. And then, if I have to go back and do some work later, I will. But it's kind of like, no, we all got to eat. We're all good, and it's something I never got to do in my prior life. It wasn't as feasible. So it's been really a sanity check for me, just to kind of keep those boundaries and also do something I enjoy and is good for my family. So that's one fuel. There's many other things, but that's the one that's like consistent for me.
So maybe a silver lining of the conditions of the past year. And I can certainly share, as someone that has commuted for years, that transition time that we would normally be on a train or in our car, kind of shifting gears from work life to home life, has really sort of been muted over through working from home conditions. So I too find the sort of evening walk with the dog and making dinner and enjoying dinner with my family as that transition time. Well, I love that. So to close out today's dialogue, I thought we should have a bit of fun in a Facebook favorite, a lightning round, with a few quick hit questions if you're up for it.
All right. Lay it on me.
Well, The first one I'm going to ask you based on what fuels you. So, first question, favorite current recipe to make for dinner?
Oh, I grill everything. So if it's any marinade, Peruvian is what I made recently. Peruvian chicken. I mean, my kids are like, "Do we have to have chicken again?" I'm like, "It's so good and delicious, and you can just grill it." So I would say Peruvian chicken.
Sounds delicious.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first job?
Age 16, ice cream scooper at Ben and Jerry's. A fun and
Favorite ice cream
delicious
flavor?
uh, mint Oreo cookie.
Yum.
Mm-hmm.
Most memorable book you read recently?
Currently reading Broken Horses by Brandi Carlile, a memoir by Brandi Carlile, a Grammy award-winning singer-songwriter who I adore. And it's amazing just to read about her, how her personal, how she grew up and how that influenced her songwriting. And I'm going to see Brandi at Red Rocks in September. So a year or so later than originally planned.
Worth the wait, I'm sure.
Yes.
Any pandemic hobbies you plan to continue?
Definitely grilling. I've taken that over from my husband. In addition to chicken, I can do any protein, pizzas, fruit, anything. So I will continue to be working on my mastery of the grill.
Grilled fruit, that's a good one. I think I need to try that out.
Try it
Okay,
out.
last one, your next vacation destination.
I'm going to Lake George, New York with my extended family. So planned it a while back, but week-long lakefront, relaxing with my parents and my siblings, and it's going to be super fun. And I can't wait. I just came back from a vacation to Florida. So like many of us probably have things stacked up. So travel stacked up, and looking forward to getting more out and about.
Absolutely. And family time. I think we've all craved family time and quality time with those that mean so much to us over the past year. Well, thank you so much, Jenn. This was awesome. I really enjoyed getting to know you better and learning a bit more about your journey. So thank you for sharing with us.
Thanks so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
And thank you to our viewers for tuning into this fireside chat. We'll see you next time.